Jersey Boys is the semi-biographical, semi-musical drama movie directed by Clint Eastwood. It is the film adaptation of the Tony Award-winning musical, which is in turn based upon the real-life story of the musical group, The Four Seasons. That right away makes things a tad confusing. And while the movie isn't necessarily confusing, there are some head-scratching moments which we will get to in a minute. First, we need to address the Four Seasons. If the name of the 1960s and 70s rock pop band isn't ringing any bells, you've still no doubt heard of some of their most famous hits. Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, and Oh What a Night are perhaps the most well-known songs from their catalog of hits. The group has stayed active, performing since 1960 with a myriad of members through the years. But for the purposes of this review, and Clint Eastwood's movie, we'll be focusing on the original four members, the titular Jersey Boys. We are introduced to the first Jersey Boy, Tommy DeVito, who is the movie's main narrator. While all the other eventual Jersey Boys take their turn as a narrator, they all do it the same way. They turn to adjust the camera while the rest of the characters go about normally. I'm sure this is something that is done in the musical to great effect, but I believe something was lost in translation from stage to screen. While it isn't bad, I found it to be a bit too unique, as it broke me out of my immersion from the movie. I appreciate what they were trying to do, but I found it a bit too jarring for my viewing experience. Narration aside, Tommy is a member of a small band called the Variety Trio, and we quickly find out that he's a low-level thief with connections to the mob. But to be honest, pretty much everyone in this story has connections to the mob. Needless to say, the mob component of the movie becomes extremely important as the film progresses, which I won't spoil here. Another thing we'll find out pretty quickly is that Tommy has a soft spot for this 16-year-old kid, Frankie Castelluccio. Even though he's just a teen, Frankie is already known in the neighborhood for his singing voice, and already has the admiration of the local mobster, Angelo DiCarlo, who was played wonderfully by Christopher Walken. Frankie only wants to sing, but he can't help but get tied up in the illegal hijinks of his friends. In spite of brushes with the law, Frankie, Tommy, Nicky, and Nick Massey team up to begin their musical success. The movie chugs along for a little. Frankie gets married, Tommy continues being a royal jerk, you know, the usual. Things change, however, when Tommy's brother Nicky decides to leave the group, now called the Four Lovers. Tommy's brother was the band's songwriter, so things start to look pretty grim for the impromptu trio. But fortunately, Tommy knows a guy. His name is Joe Pesci. Yes, we are talking about the future actor Joe Pesci. Pesci isn't there to be a songwriter, but he knows a guy who is. This guy is the final member of the Four Seasons, Bob Gaudio. With all the band members fully in place, it's time to break it big. But, as with many things, success doesn't come easy, and once success comes, it has a propensity to destroy itself. Without spoiling anything, this is basically the rest of the movie in a nutshell. The feel-good, up-and-coming success story quickly starts crumbling under the weight of fame, and it's quite sobering to see. This is the strength of the movie. It is a warning about the possible problems that come with success. It certainly doesn't help your chances if you have an ego issue like Tommy does, and that ego can tear friends apart, which it does. Success can take you away from your family and make them become bitter towards you because you're never there for them. Selfishness can destroy friends and family and even an individual's own life. All of these facets are on display in the latter parts of the film, and it can be quite a depressing viewing experience. I must say, I am a bit at odds with public perception on this film, in that most people enjoyed the musical bits, but didn't enjoy all the tension in between. Whereas I felt the musical numbers made the intriguing personal interactions and overarching themes of the movie to stop suddenly and then have to restart. The best case in point is when the band starts to break up. Just before the Four Seasons are about to perform on the Ed Sullivan Show, a bombshell revelation hits them. The first problem is, as a viewer, we were not surprised by this because we saw the revelation at its beginning. The second thing is, once the entire band finds out about the revelation, we're given a bit of an in-character narration, only to be shot back 2 years prior to see everything building up to this moment. This, in my opinion, is the movie's single biggest misstep. And while I have never seen the musical, I can't help but feel again that this was something that was inspired from the theater production and, of course, didn't translate as well on the silver screen. doesn't it make more sense to build up to the revelation? That causes heightened tension in the viewer and makes us look forward to the big reveal even more. Instead, we're given just a little build up, then a reveal, and then more build up to the reveal, even though the reveal has already been shown. Now, I'm no expert, but that doesn't seem like good writing to me. And it appears I'm not the only one, as Jersey Boys barely made its budget back in box office sales. In one last moment of brilliance, though, the movie ends with all 4 members of the Four Seasons reunited for their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. While the band performs one last time, each member gives their final narration, with Frankie's being the most poignant as he reflects that his favorite moment being a part of the band was before they got famous and it was just 4 guys singing under a street lamp. Which is a pretty neat bit of introspection, although it would have even been better if they had actually had a scene in the movie where they are under the street lamp singing together. And that, in all of its finality, is my takeaway from watching Jersey Boys. A few moments of brilliance with way too much unnecessary fluff and confusing implementation of storytelling devices. It makes Jersey Boys just an average movie with some good music. I will admit, I did think the credit scene of the entire movie cast reuniting and singing Oh What a Night was absolutely marvelous, as it added some joviality to a movie that was in desperate need of some. Because, to be honest, Jersey Boys is quite depressing, but the themes it touches on are the most important takeaways from the film. It is a good piece on the human condition, but it doesn't make for the most riveting watch. If you're willing to ignore the mistakes the movie makes and the semi-profuse use of language, there are definitely some nuggets to find in Jersey Boys, but I don't think it's worth another watch. That's my review of Jersey Boys. Go ahead and let me know in the comments what you thought of the movie, or my review, or just anything in general. I do apologize for not having done a review for a little while. I was going through some personal issues, but things are doing better. And I will be sticking to the regular schedule. Also, I am hoping to relaunch my blog, so be on the lookout for that. I will have links for that in maybe not this video, but probably an upcoming one coming up soon. And regardless, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and remember that what we create matters.